Okay, so now we left off on um it's my amnesia again. We left off, I don't know, so we're just wherever we left off was last videos. But anyways, the molecular, there we go. So the molecular weight, and then I started looking it up, and I got really confused. Um, I just found out a question that I had wondered, which the reason why I'm confused is not because of what I read, but because if I'm reading it correctly. So, I asked a question a long time ago, and I didn't know the answer to this question. The question was, what is HIV cell made out of? I mean, you can imagine it's made out of protein. But anyways, it looks like HIV is metal. So I got confused because this is a whole new subject that I need to look into, which I thought it could have been some sort of metal. But it turns out that part of it, but I don't know if this is actually what I'm looking at this way. So, um, proteins, polysaccharides. So, I was thinking that it was metal back then because I thought it was some sort of metal at one point. And then I'm going to do my little research about molecular weight of HIV. And then I'm looking at the GP120 fragment of HIV in the chemical book, and I was like, is this actually what I'm looking at? And I don't know what part of I don't know what GP120 is, so there I'm confused about that because I don't know where it places. And then also, I don't fully know. That's right. I don't fully know how to read chemical compositions. I think I know, but I need a book on them because I don't actually fully know. But I know something. So I was a little confused, but it definitely says that the base connectors are metal. And then it's like ammonia basically, that it's like ammonia metal. But I think I'm confused about the chemical formula. First of all, I don't know. This is gonna take a minute of research because I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. I got the GP120 fragment. 254, 274. I don't know why all this isn't like in a book that people can just like go and like. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard to just get like a book of pictures with little like yeah, I'm confused at what I'm looking at. I'm confused to tell you that it's part metal. I mean, but that would make sense because it's. But what doesn't make sense is why this. And it would make sense because of how, like, if, okay, like, if you. Now you're going to look back into, like, the birth of an HIV cell. And if you look at it and you look at this metal, they look identical. How did I miss this? I'm confused myself. So it might not be the shell, but I mean it does have some makeup of this apparently. If that's right, if that's right, then well, no wonder medicine don't work. It's all fucking metal. See, the problem I'm having here is that as I go through this, really, I need something to record me that I can upload to the internet so you guys know that I'm actually doing stuff with my time. And then I can write off of as like notes and stuff, which I'm actually taking notes. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking at all of this HIV pictures because that's what I need to look at. Multiple HIV. I need to look at HIV in action. I need to look at HIV types, strands. I need to look at like the replication, the reason why it replicates, what it's replicating for, the strands, the replication of the strands, what type of strands replicate where. These are questions that I'm looking at. But anyways, for me to do that, I have to go back to day one research and reread all me to actually understand it, because right now I'm just looking at these pictures. I get it. I researched a lot of it. I understand a little bit, but I don't know what I'm looking at per se. Like, really, I don't know. I don't know enough. It's kind of vague here. Like, physical properties of HIV-1 capsid from all atom. I don't know. From all atom molecular dynamics simulation. So HIV-1 capsid is made of a single capsid protein containing blah 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 and a range of the blah 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 for a total of 64 million and a half atoms. That's how many atoms are in this. That's crazy. So now I'm looking through all these, but really I should be on this computer and I should be following my research and what I'm looking at. I should be copy and pasting so I can follow my train of thought back to where I'm at. So when I look back over it, it's not like I have to relearn everything. I could just be like, okay. But I'm not doing that because I'm choosing to take a video instead for whatever reason, instead of going and then coming back and taking a video. But I just thought it was a really interesting fact that HIV is a metal. It's a part metal. I mean, we're part metal too. And we have iron and stuff. And you see where I'm going with this. But did I read that right? What part of what is the G120? What part of the HIV is G120? I'm confused. I mean, I would think that the shell is part this metal because it's always so. It's so. HIV-1 virons contain two reverse transcriptase polypeptides that have a parent molecular weight of 66 and 51 kDa. Potassium dioxide. I don't know what kDa is. So, okay, HIV-1 GP120. The envelope glycoprotein facility expired capture and dissemination. Facilitates viral capture and dissemination by dendritic cells and endothelial cells by attaching the virus to the host lymphocytes through binding the CD4. Exploits the migrate property of the dendritic cells to access CD4 T cells, leading to infection. It's a recombinant virus. HIV is a recombinant virus-derived envelope glycoprotein G120 protein expressed by HEK293 with CH in label text. The total length of envelope glycoprotein GP is 149 molecular weight of 105 to 130. Okay, so along the lines of HIV, No, no, no. I am right. GP120 is a glycoprotein exposed on the surface of HIV envelope. It's discovered by Professor Tunhuli and Myron Max Essex at Harvard School of Public Health in 1984. The 120 in its name comes from a molecular weight of 120 kDa. GP120 is essential for viral entry into a cell that plays a vital role in attachment of specific cell surface receptors. These receptors are D-cysine, heparin sulfate, proteinoglycan, and specific interaction with the CD4 receptor, particularly on helper T cell binding to CD4 and although there are van der Waals hydrogen binding electrostatic and hydrogen are Okay, so I've been doing this for 4 hours with no money. Okay, so what we got going on here? The only thing that I really looked at is this metal. So what makes HIV go dormant in a cell? Well, the only thing that I can answer is that spongy or dense. So CD4 T cells, they're spongy and soft. If you like, so they're spongy and fun for the HIV. It's a ball inside, it's a blast, they're having a ball. But when they go dormant in a cell, it's because it's a more dense cell, but I have to go research that because that's my hypothesis. They're having a ball. They must, apparently, HIVs feel happiness. Little happy HIVs. I'm an HIV cell. Okay, well, now we're gonna go research that. How dense are myeloid cells? No. How dense are myeloid cells? Myeloid cells are typically maintained at a density of 2 to 8 times 105 cells milliliter during the duration. Mature neutrophils usually emerge after 10 days of culture, with the highest mature neutrophils should remain viable after 14 days of culture, after which there is spontaneous apoptosis. Differentiation and characteristics of myeloid cells. Also, they're sweet. They taste good. Recent molecular studies of myeloid differentiation have utilized several in vitro models of myelopoiesis generated from how dense are CD4 cells? How dense are CD4 cells? dense. How dense are CD4? How dense are CD4 cells? So CD4 receptor density T cell helpers from Carpster PBMC is determined to be 1.45 to plus 0.09 times 10 copy cells using. Myeloid cells are typically maintained at a density of 2 minus 8 times 105 cells. How does that work? Myeloid. Well, we know that's not the only reason. This isn't working. This is just so slow. Tracers from here. No, not Google Lens. Voice search has been turned off. Of course it has, because somebody's hacking my phone. Now I have to go turn it on, because that's too easy for Grace. On your Android service, open up Chrome app to the right, enter settings. What you can see was just on. Site settings. Site settings. Microphone. Allow. I don't want to ask first. I want Grace, ask Grace, ask Grace. Why did it go there? How would you allow everything else? It doesn't even have a thing to change it. I don't freaking know. Let's just see if it works. Why the
Here's the definition of why, for what reason or purpose.
we don't know.
Here's the definition of
Why doesn't HIV replicate in myeloid cells? Okay, so the HIV is hiding in the myeloid cells, and now that we know, I need to go. Okay, HIV can escape early innate sensing in myeloid cells before viral DNA integration. Viral DNA integration. Okay. So now we gotta get it out of the myeloid cells. Okay, so we know now. Okay, we're gonna go back to the molecular weight. Molecular weight of HIV. No.
According to Wikipedia,
No.
the molecular mass is the mass of a given molecule. The unit
Molecular weight of
Dalton is often used.
molecular weight of HIV. Oh. Okay, now we're gonna go back here. So now we're gonna look at this. This is just a fragment, this is a piece of it. But really I need more than this. So now I'm gonna have to take some time and study all this. Because if my hypothesis is correct, which it will be, we're in the right direction. Okay, so when it gets in there, so you have these myeloid cells, and they're all over your body. And it gets in there and you don't know they're in there. So what traces are left? What tracers? There has to be a tracer that it leads when it goes into a myeloid cell. You would think there's something like plasma that it leads or some, but then that probably get washed away and then the cell covers it up. And so what, that's a start, because maybe we can get it right when it goes in there with enough, but then some like that's what tracers left by HIV entering myeloid cells. Myeloid cells, what cell markers? Why do HIV patients give blood for flow? Oh, here's one. Okay, so we have HIV-1 VPR induces degradation gelsolin, a myeloid cell-specific host factor that reduces viral infectivity by inhibiting the expression and packaging of the HIV-1 in glycoprotein. Okay, let me see. Gelsolin is a structural actin binding protein that is known to affect actin dynamics in the cell using mass spectrometry to identify GSN as a novel BPR interacting protein. It was expressed at detectable levels in monocyte-derived macrophages. It's undetectable at the protein level in the other cell tests. The HIV-1 infection of India is associated with the reduction of GSN steady state levels, presumably due to the VPR-induced degradation. So, what we have here is how do we know? How does something know on a molecular level what gelsolin is? So lysosomal with transfer cells with lysosomal inhibitors reverse the effects of GSN on immune stability, suggesting that GSN reduces E and B expression via enhanced lysosomal degradation. Okay, let me see. So this might. So lysosomal. I'm not saying this. It's lysosomal. So, Lysosomal. So the question is, I have to reread this, and for some reason, because I'm in front of this, I'm having a hard time stopping myself from that and looking at this. So I have to go back over this. Okay. 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 So active filaments have two ends, barbed and pointed, and have distinct polymerization properties. Polymerization dynamics are much faster at barbed ends because polymerization is exothermic and it supplies the energy required to propel a cell through its environment or pathogens through a cell. So what if we got medicine that makes it so it just propels it through it and it just doesn't go in it? It's a possibility along with the other possibility that I just said. So there's two possibilities. It's my amnesia. I can't tell you what the first one I said was, but it was something. It's my amnesia. Okay. I don't think it would be hard to make medicine that makes a polymesmerized diamanic or active filament, two end, barbed and pointed. Let me see. Let me see what I'm working with here. Hydrolysis, pointed, barbed, pointed, barbed. No, that doesn't cure it though, because you have to get it out of the cells. Okay, so what if you made a reverse apogee of, of hydrolysis? How do you reverse? How do you reverse? How do you reverse actin? So I mean, it leaves evidence. It's not evidenceless. It's not without evidence here. So your evidence is where you're going to get it to come out and cure, because that's what you're going to want to look at, maybe. I think a little bit. So it's exothermic. So we know that it has evidence there. I mean, exothermic. Let me do some research on exothermic real quick. So I'm guessing that it's exo. I mean, I don't know what I think I'm missing a couple things, but a couple steps here. But if it's exothermic, we need to make it endothermic to reverse it. So we need to absorb energy. We need to be able to absorb the HIV's energy. Endothermic absorption. Endothermic absorption. Hold on. Endothermic absorption. What type of heat energy does HIV give off when entering a myeloid cell? HIV infection and the latency induced a unique metabolic signature. Furthermore, we show that uninfected and HIV infected macrophiles use fatty acids and glucose. Okay. So it's a fatty acid and glucose. I don't know. myeloid-derived macrophage and myeloid cell lines as targets. Monocyte-derived macrophage and myeloid cell line as targets of HIV in replication and persistence. Okay. Monocyte-derived macrophages. Okay. Web search. Monocyte-derived derivatation, residence macrophage are heterogeneous and versatile cells found in virtually all tissues of adult mammals, where they can represent up to 10 to 15% of the total cell number. In quiescent conditions, the number can increase further in response to inflammatory stimuli. What do you gotta say?
The overall goal of this procedure is to improve the availability of monocytes and to minimize the variation in obtained cell densities during MCSF-induced differentiation of human blood monocytes into macrophages.
This method can help answer key questions concerning human macrophage biology. The main advantage of this technique is that human monocyte-derived macrophage cultures can be readily obtained with reduced dependency on donor availability. In addition, desired macrophage cell density and homogeneous cultures can be consistently achieved.
Monocyte-derived macrophages and myeloid cells line the target of HIV in replication and persistence. Okay. So, I'm generating that when HIV enters a cell, and once it stays dormant, it does leave evidence out, I'm guessing, somewhere on the outside or in collections of the cell. So, where what evidence does HIV secrete when entering a cell? Cell binding and entry. So, protein envelope. Okay, so what does HIV look like when it enters myeloid cells? So the myeloid lineage, particularly macrophages, serve as a primary host for HIV in vitro along with CD4 lymphocytes. Macrophages are present in virtual tissue takes information using pathological sequel. Moreover, infected in multiple other tissues, recent evidence. I better stop this in case it won't